Guzman and Humberto Soto fight for the WBO title. The heavies were brawling. Asim Rahman and Zuri Lawrence. And we also take a look at Russ's outstanding 8 as we feature the 130-pound division. There's all that and more on In This Corner with Russ Anber. Hi, everybody, and welcome to In This Corner. I'm Darren DeTisha, along with the coach. We are glad that you tuned in. Things okay with you, Rusty?
Everything is wonderful. Did you have a good weekend?
Fantastic.
It was good. Good action fight as well. Humberto Soto can fight, brother.
Yeah, he can, but
yes, Guzman fights a little better.
Yeah, he was fighting against Joan Guzman, who might be a little bit better. Now, in his country, the Dominican Republic, they say that Joan Guzman is called El Pequeño.
Pequeño.
Yeah, my Spanish is about as good as my French, which is not very good at all. But yeah, they call him the Little Mike Tyson. Yeah. And the reason why, in his first 21 professional fights, he had 17 knockouts. He's moved up in weight class, though. He's jumped up to 130 pounds. His last 6 fights have all gone the distance. Not only has he gotten heavier, he's fighting better opponents as well. Right. And Humberto Soto would definitely fall into that category. This past weekend, he put his WBO title on the line. These highlights are brought to you by the rally-inspired Mitsubishi Outlander. Now, Joan Guzman, 27-0. with those 17 KOs, taking on Humberto Soto. Now, this guy's a veteran. He's had 50 professional fights. He was in the maroon trunks, and these guys banged in the first 6 rounds. This was more brawling than it was boxing.
Dutchie, right from the outset, these guys came out to watch this, standing here toe-to-toe. Guzman now looking like he is the little Tyson, coming forward. Look at those bombs both these guys are unleashing. Left hooks and right hands, each one of these shots looking to end the fight. There's some hard shots. Good left hook from Guzman. And Soto just takes it all and throws back on his own. And I think Guzman thought that he might surprise Soto and try to take him out. But boy, Soto was still there. Still here, round 3 action, still early in the fight. Guzman still wants to take Soto out, and they were just exchanging toe-to-toe here. Look at those shots right there, loading up both of them on the right hands and left hooks. Again, but as the fight wore on, there's a good left hook there from Guzman as he landed that on Soto. But now Guzman starts to box a little bit more. As the fight wore on, where he realized he wasn't going to take Soto out of there, he went to boxing a little bit more. Soto on the inside trying to dig the body shots, and Guzman, you could see the influence from Mayweather, the way he's got that, you know, he's trained by Floyd Sr. He's got that left hand down, hides behind the shoulder. Here we are, round 10, and this is where Bob Arum said that Soto might have walked his way out of the fight with Manny Pacquiao. Here we are, 10th round action. He just basically moving away from Soto. Started doing a lot of clowning and showboating, and I'm not sure that got the fancy of the fight fans. There he is running around the ring, 12th round action. So if the fight didn't end with the same fireworks in which it began.
No, it certainly didn't, but you can understand the strategic change on the part of Joan Guzman, because he was trading bombs early on. He thought, you know what, why even stand there with this guy? I'll just outbox him. Although the showboating stuff, you know, you and I are both on the same page with this. We really don't have a lot of time for it.
But he is a talented guy. I mean, no doubt about it. There he is. Here's your unanimous decision winner.
Yeah, Joan Guzman ends up winning the fight via the unanimous decision, so he retains his title. You can understand why they call him. For 130 pounds, guy's jacked. He's got pretty big arms.
Big guy.
He is a solid guy. But listen, when you take a look at the first 6 rounds of this fight, how did you have it scored?
I had it 4-2 for Guzman.
And how did you go in the final 6 rounds?
I think I went, 6-0 for
Guzman.
So
you can understand Joan Guzman. He decides, you know what, enough with the banging. I'm not going to take this guy. I don't think he ever really got hurt, though, either, to be quite honest with you, by Humberto Soto.
No, and I think the one thing, if you want to look at a positive from this, if you look at it from a trainer's perspective, I think that what Guzman showed was a lot of versatility, and we've seen a lot of that in the last few fights. Mosley and Cotto, Kessler and Calzaghe. We've seen fighters change, and we saw now Guzman change as well. He went there the first 6 rounds, he wanted to bomb Soto out of there. There's no doubt about it. And then when he saw he couldn't, he resorted to boxing. And I'll tell you what, in the 130-pound division, he may be one of the best pure technically skilled fighters in the game. He's got incredible defense, fast hands, great footwork. He judges his distance well. And once he started doing that, Soto really didn't have an answer. When Soto didn't have anything to land on right in front of him, Guzman basically controlled the fight, moved, boxed, stayed behind the jab, did what he wanted, even some of the little stupid showboat stuff. But,
really wasn't a fan
he does what he wants. No,
but when you say the 130-pound division, you think of one Manuel Marquez. You do throw in Manny Pacquiao, and we'll talk about that in just a moment or two as well. A reminder, if you missed this fight, you can see it this Friday here on TSN. We're also going to replay the Miguel Cotto Sugar Shane Mosley. It all begins at 7:30 Eastern Time. And coming up later in the show, it is is Russ's outstanding 8. He's going to count down his top 8 junior lightweights, guys like that. Marco Antonio Barrera, Manny Pacquiao. We'll see where they all fit in. That's later on Outstanding 8. All right, we have to take a short break. When we come back, heavyweights hit the ring. We've got Hasim Rahman and Zuri Lawrence. You're watching In This Corner with Russ Anber.
Ain't it good? Ain't it right that you are with me here tonight? The music playing, our body swaying in time. In time. Rock me gently, rock me slowly. Baby, baby, rock me gently, rock me slowly.
Introducing the new all-Jeep Liberty.
Ferocious Fernando Vargas and Ricardo El Matador Mayorga are two boxers who love to fight. The bad blood is still fresh from the last time they met. Now, the street fight moves to the ring.
Unbelievable! What a fight!
Vargas versus Mayorga. The brawl, plus 2 more hard-hitting fights.
Red Bull Crash Dice 2008 is now drafting athletes. Think you can make the cut? Registration at redbullcrashdice.ca.
Introducing the all-new Dodge Grand Caravan, the ultimate family room on wheels.
Rival boxing gear. Designed to perform.
From the little guys to the big boys. You know, you can take 2
That's you!
You can take 2 Joan Guzmans and 2 Humberto Sotos, and you end up with a Hasim Rahman and a Zuri Lawrence. The heavies. Rahman, record of 44-6-2, 35 KOs. Looking for another knockout here. He's got Lawrence against the ropes. Lawrence with a record of 23-12-4.
And you got to give credit to Zuri Lawrence, who came in as a last-minute replacement for the guy you were going to make a joke about his name, and Sherman Williams. And it was Zuri Lawrence who got painted here.
And that's what that was my joke. Sherman Williams, you know, he got painted.
Yeah, well, Zuri Lawrence is getting the one getting brushed here because Rahman, this turned out to be a pretty exciting match, but I think Rahman wanted more out of this. He wanted to get the clean knockout early and couldn't get it. Zuri Lawrence stayed in there, and Rahman just couldn't put the finisher on him. Here you'll see it, round 6. It's all Rahman throughout this fight. You know, you thought at one point maybe he was going to punch himself out, and Zuri Lawrence just stayed in there, but he really didn't have the skills nor the speed, and maybe right now with taking the fight on such short notice, the conditioning to stay in there with Rahman.
I know, but then you look at the little guys who go in there and trade leather with precision punches, and you see these big behemoths, and they are just teeing off.
Look at this. Look at, I mean, right
Lawrence
through the ropes. I mean,
right.
See, there's another thing about, you know, you talk about security of the fighter. If the ropes are put together properly and they're held with those rope spacers, he should not have gone through those 2. That was just not a good job of putting the ring up. And here we are, round 10, and this is just now too much for Zuri Lawrence. And Rahman, surprisingly, still has the energy and still has that power. And just one little short shot, that hurts Zuri Lawrence. The referee's watching closely. He's going to make his move here. And there it is. There's the right hand. He steps in. It's all over, brother.
I'll tell you what, it was over when he first went through the ropes. Why they ever let him get back into the ring?
That was round 6. And he comes in there and he's still there in round 10. So you got to give credit to Zuri Lawrence for showing a lot of heart staying in there against Rahman.
Do you give Zuri Lawrence credit, or do you discredit the performance of Hasim Rahman?
Well, I think there's a little bit of both. I think Hasim.
How do you ever win the title?
because he knocked out Lennox Lewis with a single shot.
That'll
do it for it.
How did he ever win the title?
Some things happen as an act of God, and that was one of them. And I think Lennox will agree with that as well. But, I mean, Rockman also, you know, he wanted to get Zuri Lawrence out of there. He thought Lawrence was going to be a poor replacement for Sherwin-Williams. He thought he'd come out there, throw some bombs, and this guy would go. But Zuri Lawrence, and you got to give credit, when these guys come in at the last minute, Dutchie, they're brought in as last-minute substitute, and they don't have to. They could bail in the second round. They could bail in the third round, but he stayed in there, showed a lot of heart, got through to 10 rounds, and gave Rockman more trouble than he expected.
I can't believe you used my paint line, too.
But I credited you for it. There's a difference.
Now, this was on the undercard of the Guzman Soto fight. Now, this is what we're talking. Now we're talking some boxing here. You got Abner Mares. I'm going to call him Little Abner before you take my line again. NABO Bantamweight champ, 14-0, 9 KOs. He's in the green trunks, taking on Damian Marciano, I should say, who's 14-2-1. He's got 5 KOs in the blue trunks. And these two guys were throwing bombs.
And Mares is one of the crown jewels in the Golden Boy promotion stable. Absolutely. And he started to show it. Here we are, 12th round action. I don't know how this guy stood up, Marciano, because he took some, look at that right hand, unbelievable shot. And now at this point, Mares is way ahead in the fight, and he's still throwing bombs in the 12th round. That's why they love this guy.
Right, but at least that was a competitive bout.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Jesus Soto Caris is 17-3-3, 14 KOs, black and gold trunks, taking on Juan Manuel Buendia.
Not bad. I thought I'd help you with that one. And Soto Caris looked good in this one. I mean, just too much. Good fundamentals. Comes over a hard right hand there. That lands. Good win for Soto Caris. Unanimous decision, Dutchie.
Hey, and finally from Cicero, Illinois, Johnny Gonzalez, 34-6, 29 KOs in the black and white trunks, taking on Jose Angel Baranza, who is 30-10-2.
And Johnny Gonzalez, just look at that, digging that left hook to the body, patented Mexican shot right underneath. Baranzez tries to stay in there, but again, the left hook lands from Johnny Gonzalez. Johnny Gonzalez, the winner in this one, brother.
Right, he wins it with a 10-round unanimous decision. Some other boxing results for you. Zab Judah took home the vacant IBC junior middleweight belt Saturday with a unanimous decision over Ryan Davis in Turks and Caicos. He went for a holiday
and he got a fight.
And he ended up with a bout. Judah's record improves to 36-5, 25 knockouts.
Well, here's another one who went on vacation in St. Lucia. 2004 Olympic gold medalist Andre Ward outclassed and punished previously undefeated Roger Cantrell. This is a big win. Referee Jose Rivera stopped this one at 156 of the 5th round, Dutchie.
Yeah, also former 3-time champion William Joppy lived up to his pre-fight prediction. He said he was going to knock out his opponent, veteran Etienne Whitaker. This bout took all of 1 minute, 58 seconds. Joppy improved his record to 39-4-1. He had better things to do that night.
Yeah, and Figueroa with a unanimous decision over Noel Rodriguez as well.
You know, Fernando Vargas at the age of 21 was a champion. This is a guy who rose...
Youngest ever.
Right, in his respective division. He moved up very quickly, and the next thing you know, he had a belt around him. Now he's closing in on the age of 30. His career has come to an end. He says, as a matter of fact, this upcoming weekend, when he steps into the ring with Ricardo Mayorga, this will be his final fight. With a preview of that bout, here's Russ.
Fans should expect nothing less than a street fight when ferocious Fernando Vargas and former 3-time champion Ricardo El Matador Mayorga collide this Friday at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. Just 2 weeks shy of his 30th birthday, Vargas claims this will be his swan song. The man who tore through the junior middleweight ranks to become its youngest champion at the age of 21 says this one is all about pride. Vargas plans on retiring after the bout that will be fought at a whopping 166 pounds. A far cry from his glory days at 154, where he was 2-time champion, posting wins against such names as Ike Corte, Winky Wright, and Raul Marquez. While donning Matador costumes for press conferences, enjoying post-fight cigarettes in the ring, or eating fried chicken on the scales as he weighs in, Mayorga is as flamboyant inside the ring as he is outside it. Mayorga is best known for twice beating Vernon Forrest, an unconventional fighter who will drop his hands and invite his opponents to take their best shot. Mayorga is a strong puncher who attacks from a variety of angles. Expected to come in a couple of pounds lighter than the ballooning Vargas, Mayorga hopes to return to 154 and once again challenge for a title. As a special lead-in to the main event, Kermit Cintron will be defending his IBF World Championship belt versus Jesse Feliciano in hopes of trying to carve out his place in the ultra-competitive welterweight division. In a division studded with names like Mayweather, Hatton, and Cotto, Cintron's work only just begins with the Feliciano fight. Despite Feliciano's 15-5 record, the LA-born fighter has proven to be no pushover. His last 3 bouts have included a win over former champion Vince Phillips, a draw versus contender star and Gatti conqueror Alfonso Gomez, and a huge upset win over Delvin Rodriguez. Cintron has racked up 26 knockouts in his 28 victories against only 1 loss and will be looking to add to that against Feliciano. In a division of bigger fighters and bigger fights, a unification match between Cintron and WBO champ Paul Williams is looming. But first, he has to get by Feliciano.
You know what? You look at it on paper and you're like, yeah. I'll tell you what, though, if they go in there and they start trading leather, this could be a real interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a war.
We've got a preview show as we get you set for the bout. That's this Wednesday. We also talk about it during our podcast. All right, coming up, we're going to give you the mandatory 8 count. It's our new feature, the top 130 pounders. When we come back on In This Corner with Russ Anber.
You don't have to be the biggest, or the loudest, or the most famous, but you have to be the best prepared. You have to be the most agile, and maybe the most daring, if you want to inspire and to impress and to excite, to be the one to go far.
The Man Expert Face-Off Challenge continues. We've narrowed it down to 4 finalists who recently faced off with me in Toronto. Hit tsn.ca/faceoff to watch highlights and vote for the person you think deserves a guest spot on OTR. Just by voting, you could win a trip for 2 to Toronto to attend our show.
Brought to you by L'Oreal Men Expert. Give your tired, dull-looking skin a boost with Hydro Power Moisturizer. L'Oreal Men Expert. The future of your skin is in your hands.
Get a helping hand with home remodeling with HomeWorks home remodeling software. Only at Home Hardware and Home Hardware Building Center. With HomeWorks, use actual photos of your home to change paint color, flooring, windows, doors, roofing, siding, anything. Well, almost anything. Before you remodel, use HomeWorks and picture the difference.
Help is close to home.
Only at Home Hardware.
Heart disease is a killer that doesn't discriminate between old and young. That's why the Heart and Stroke Foundation was behind research leading to in utero heart treatments, saving babies' lives before they're even born. This is what happens when you put your heart into it.
Rival boxing gear, designed to perform.
Welcome back to the show. IBF champion Vladimir Klitschko and WBO title holder Sultan Ibragimov. They're going to fight February the 23rd, Madison Square Garden, to unify 2 of the 4 heavyweight world titles regarded by many as the best of the current heavyweights. Klitschko tops the independent IBO rankings, while Ibragimov pounded out a unanimous decision against Evander Holyfield last month.
And Dutchie, how's this for a potential matchup? Talks have begun that light heavyweight champ Bernard Hopkins may take to the ring against super middleweight champ Joe Calzaghe. Both sides have said that they want the fight, but as you know, neither side has ever been easy to negotiate with. Golden Boy Promotions chief Oscar De La Hoya said his company has begun negotiating with Frank Warren, who is Calzaghe's promoter. Stay tuned for more news on this one. Dutchie, I believe this is going to be the next super fight in boxing. I'm excited about this one.
Well, Calzaghe wants it, Bernard wants it, and as for Oscar, they say that he's going to return to the ring potentially for 3 fights next year, one which may pit him against Zab Judah. De La Hoya looking to return to the welterweight division for 2008. They're talking about him potentially with Miguel Cotto.
And WBA cruiserweight champion Virgil Hill will put his belt on the line against WBA interim champ Firat Arslan this Saturday in Dresden, Germany. Hill, who boasts a record of 50-5 with 23 knockouts, has been in Germany training for the bout against Arslan, who is 27-3-1 with 18 KOs. Dutchie.
Longtime New Jersey boxing chief Larry Hazard Sr. has been ousted as the State Athletic Control Board commissioner for what they are saying is undisclosed reasons. Bernard Hopkins has stated that he's shocked and appalled by the decision. If you don't know, Larry Hazard Sr., he is the gentleman with the black pinstripe suit on there. He's got the red tie. He's been involved in New Jersey boxing for a long, long time. Bernard Hopkins does not like the decision at all.
I'm shocked at that. Former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson has been sentenced to 24 hours in jail and 3 years probation on a conviction of drug possession and driving under the influence after an arrest outside a Mesa, Arizona nightclub last December. The 41-year-old Tyson initially pleaded innocent, but changed his plea in September and was fined $3,600 Dutch.
Right. Talk about your slap on the wrist. Time now for Outstanding 8. This week, Rusty is going to take a look at the 130-pounders. Here's his Outstanding 8.
Number 8, Cassius Baloyi, known Dutchie as the Shy Guy. The South African Baloyi has a solid record with 34 wins in 38 fights. However, he is yet to meet a high-profile contender. If he hopes to rise in this very steep division, Baloyi must meet some of the division's major iron.
All right, Rusty, number 7.
Humberto Soto. Unlike Baloyi, Soto has met some of the division's best, including Kevin Kelly, Rocky Juarez, and of course this past weekend, Joan Guzman. Although a determined and gutsy effort against Guzman, the loss drops Soto back. It will take a big win, Dutchie, to get him another title shot.
Russ, who do you have at number 6?
Jorge Barrios. Although he lost a close split decision to Guzman, Jorge Barrios is among the class of the division. On his way to the Guzman fight, Barrios defeated notable contenders like Janos Nagy, undefeated Micah Kondo, and dropped Acelino Freitas twice. With this more than impressive pedigree, Barrios could find himself in a title fight at any time.
Number 5.
Marco Antonio Barrera, the baby-faced assassin, has thrilled fans for almost 2 decades. A gallant warrior, Barrera has ducked no one. His willingness to meet all contenders has made him one of boxing's true superstars. Unfortunately, Barrera's career is nearing the end. On the heel of 2 consecutive losses to Marquez and Pacquiao, Barrera might be looking for a win before he retires.
Number 4.
Edwin Valario, known as Dinamita. Edwin Valario is a puncher in the purest sense. Undefeated at 22-0, Valero has scored 22 knockouts in the process. In his biggest win to date, Valero climbed off the canvas in round 3 against Vincent Mascara to stop Mascara in the 10th to win the WBA title.
Yeah, Valero can bomb. Number 3.
Joan Guzman. With a unanimous decision win over Humberto Soto, Guzman may have solidified his place as one of the best technical fighters in the division. However, his safety-first style in the last half of the fight may have cost him a lucrative matchup against Manny Pacquiao. The risk fighting him may not be worth the reward, Dutchie.
Number 2.
This guy I like, Juan Manuel Marquez. With an outstanding record of 48 wins against only 3 losses and a draw, Marquez is pure class. A relentless warrior, Marquez's record is studded with some of the biggest names in the division. However, it is the lone draw on his record which is his greatest achievement. After being knocked down 3 times against Pacquiao, he comes up for a draw.
And there is Manny.
Number 1, without a doubt, boxing's most exciting fighter. With 50 pro fights under his belt, Pacquiao's record is studded with Hall of Fame names like Barrera, Solis, Morales, Larios, and of course, Marquez. A true superstar, Pacquiao must erase the draw against Marquez in a rematch.
Yeah, we hope to see that fight in the future. What we will see next is Russ's final flurry.
You don't have to be the biggest, or the loudest, or the most famous, but you have to be the best prepared. You have to be the most agile, and maybe the most daring. If you want to inspire, and to impress, and to excite. To be the one to go far.
This moosehead wants you to have this toque. Because much like the top hat was all the rage in the 1700s, the moosehead toque, with its stylish moosehead crest, will be worn by all true gentlemen of distinction in 2007. Right now, you'll find one of 8 pieces of special gear in every 2-4 of this special beer. No purchase necessary, must be legal drinking age.
240 miles above the Earth when IMAX needed to power their camera, they trusted Duracell. And if you think advanced technology is only for outer space, consider this. Down here, now you can take up to 5,000 pictures over the life of 2 batteries. New Duracell rechargeables. Recharge in just 15 minutes. They're rechargeables reinvented. So whether it's some amazing shots today or you're gazing a little further into the future, it just has to work. Duracell, trusted everywhere.
So, big plans this weekend? Julie and I are going to give each other pink highlights.
You know, maybe it's time you started looking for a part-time job.
I would, but I don't have a social insurance number yet, so...
Service Canada, providing easy one-stop access to federal government programs and services like a social insurance number. For answers to your questions and much more, call, click, or visit us today. Service Canada, people serving people. A message from the Government of Canada.
NHL on TSN. The powerhouse Ottawa Senators are on a roll. As they head into Buffalo to battle division rivals, the Sabres. Sens, Sabres. Tomorrow, the NHL on TSN.
Hockey lives here.
Hey, it's 5 days a week. Boxing on Classic. That is ESPN Classic, Monday through Friday, beginning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. The Final Flurry is brought to you by the Dodge Caliber. Grab life by the horns. All right, it is time now for our favorite part of the show, Russ's Final Flurry. There's the bell. This comes from Chris Metler. He wants to know, if Bernard Hopkins faces and beats a super middleweight, Joe Calzaghe, although they'll fight up at a catchweight, will he qualify for all-time pound-for-pound king of the world status?
You know what? I think he already is there now, actually. As a 10 years as undefeated champion, I think puts Calzaghe as one of the greats of all time, certainly in the super middleweight division. I don't think it tarnishes his image if he moves up there. So
no, I think he's asking about Bernard.
Or if
Bernard wins.
Well, I think then the same question could apply to the same answer could apply to both, because I think regardless of who wins, Dutchie, Bernard beats him. I think Bernard is already among the all-time greats because he did achieve what Calzaghe has yet to achieve, and that's move up in weight class to the original weight class, middleweight to light heavy, and win a title.
Okay, listen to the questions. This one comes from David Fuller. Russ, with the standing 8 count and more diligent stoppages, isn't it time for boxing to return from 12 championship rounds to 15?
Okay, now if you ask me to listen to the question, then I have to correct something in the question. There's no such thing as a standing 8 count in professional boxing. It's a mandatory 8. There is no standing 8. The referee cannot move in unless the fighter is knocked down. If he does move in, the fight is automatically stopped. But it's a mandatory 8, and that's been around for a long time now. As far as championship matches going to 15 rounds are concerned, personally, I don't think they're going to go to it because recently was the anniversary of the Dooku Kim Ray Mancini tragedy.
I saw it.
That's right.
They replayed it.
That's
they relived it.
It forever changed the face of boxing, and that's why fights are now 12 rounds instead of 15. However, what I would say and what I would like to see is when we have a super fight, such as possibly Hopkins against Calzaghe or Calzaghe-Kessler, when you have the unification matches, I might like to see a unification match be 15 rounds, but I think I might be living a dream in that one.
You are, and you know what? You don't need it. You've got 12 rounds to settle your business. This one
it
comes
should be an odd number then. It should be 13. That way you eliminate a draw for sure.
Well, this one comes, there should never be a draw.
That's right.
This comes from...
Shouldn't be 12 rounds.
No, there's always one clear-cut winner. Ivan Montiel wants to know, we fight fans may have ourselves a great fight in Ricardo Mayorga and Fernando Vargas this weekend. It might turn out to be that. What's your prediction?
It will be. It's going to be a war. My prediction on this one, as I've always said to you in the past, Dutchie, the guy with the overall better skills is going to win the fight. And although Mayorga is a devastating puncher, I think that Vargas has just too much boxing skills. I'm worried a little bit about the weight he's carrying, but I think in this one I'm going to go with Vargas, and I think Vargas might end up stopping him as well.
Okay, this comes from Jeff Pilgrim in Burlington, Ontario. He wants to know, in what scenario do you see Ricky Hatton beating Pretty Boy Floyd? He goes, I don't see it.
Well, you know what? Don't count him out, although I'm not giving him a great chance, but I mean, he does have a chance. If he turns this fight into an ugly, mauling, pushing, gets his headbutt in there and holds him and grabs him, he could make this an ugly fight, and that could give Mayweather trouble. That's the way I see it.
I don't know if he's able to cut the ring off against him.
You might be right.
But we'll discuss that fight.
Oh, we got time for that.
Hey, you know what? We had a really good question from Tony, too. We're going to answer it in the next edition of In This Corner. That's Wednesday, November 21st. Thanks for watching.
Russ Anber's Clothing by Pellegrino Castronovo.